welcome to About Nothing But Sports. I'm your host, Ashley Baker, and this is like the first in-person show I've done.
Oh my God.
Listen, I'm so excited. I have my girl.
Oh, God.
My goodness.
Here
We
she goes.
probably have to like talk to them about like how we met and everything like
A
that.
little
but
bit.
We'll get into that. Maybe not this show because we got some other stuff to discuss, but the host of the Girls Talk Boys Talk podcast with the Dallas Cowboys co-host.
Yes.
My girl, Miss Iisha Morrison.
Hi.
Yes, she is
Humans.
here finally. She's finally here, and this is what I was saying to you guys on social media. What would be special about this one, because I'm here in Dallas.
Yep.
I have touched down. I will be attending the Cowboys Colts game, Sunday night football, and I had to like get my girl on the show, and I'm like, you know what? Let's make it a live thing. So thanks for tapping in, girl. How you been?
Hi.
How you been?
Good. I've been well. I'm doing well. Am I supposed to? Should I look into the camera or look at you?
I think it's okay either way.
Okay, because I'm used to it. Just
there's
being
a whole like podcast and like a whole
I'm
like
getting used
star
to it
as a
just
star and
right here. But hi, I'm Iisha Morrison. I'm so glad to be here with you, Ashley.
yes, I'm so happy. It's been a long time coming.
It has.
We've been trying to get
Has
this
it been
locked
that
in.
long? We've only known each other like a year.
I know, but like to get you on my show though, I feel like
Yeah,
it's been a
yeah,
minute.
it has, because I've been getting my tail whooped with the Cowboys.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that because homegirl been real busy. But I appreciate y'all for tapping in week in, week out. The suggestions that you guys give me, just the support, it is unmatched. And this is my first like live show. I'm kind of like giddy over the first live show. Y'all, I'm excited.
Giddy right now.
Yeah. So anyway, listen, we're going to start off. We got a lot to discuss, guys. As y'all see, repping my Cowboys. Okay, yeah, this is what's that, like the LeBron thing?
Oh no, it's just your heartbeat. Like, yeah.
But you know LeBron do like that.
Well, kind of the Wolf of Wall Street. Sorry,
ignore
me. See, they're not gonna like it. They're gonna be like, don't have this lady.
I'm not really familiar with the Wolf of Wall Street reference.
It
Y'all know, the people that know, y'all know, I'm kind of like low key on like movies.
It was good.
I've seen the Wolf of Wall Street.
Y'all remember the little theme song they do?
Oh, I kind of remember that a little bit.
Yeah,
I kind of remember that.
That's what it is.
So we got a lot to talk about. Of course, this is definitely going to be really heavy talk for my Cowboys crew. Again, I'm here in Dallas. We're going to talk about Cowboys called Sunday Night Football. We're going to talk about the Cowboys season thus far. But beginning the show, I always want my listeners, my viewers to just learn a little bit more about you.
Yep.
So, tell everybody, like, let's start with, how did you come to love the game of football, sports in general, the way that you do?
So I am born and raised Cowboys fan. Like, my granddad didn't allow us to live in the house if we wasn't Cowboys fans. So I started off always loving football. He was a good human. But I always started off loving football. The ladies would be in there talking about the gossip and stuff, and I was watching the game. And I've been a tomboy for the majority of my life, and so I started early, like just watching the game and just being attached to it. And then I got to college, and I was in a co-ed dorm, and there were guys down the hall that played for the college that I went to. So I just started asking them questions when I would see them looking at film, or popping my head in when I would see them, breaking down stuff, or we were in class. So they was like, okay, we'll teach you. And some of those gentlemen actually went on to play in the NFL, and then some of them have gone on to play on the USFL and overseas. And that's really how I got started with really learning the game.
And she is literally one of the best play breaker downers. Okay, that was a
breaker downers
that I've ever met. Like, it's very, y'all know I love me some Cowboys. But like, just hearing it from how you break it down, she's so in depth. She's so the research that I feel like you put behind it is super dope. So like, how did you? So you said it was started from your grandfather, and then you said that you would peek your head in. How did you get here with the Cowboys, working with the Star?
Yeah.
And talk to us a little bit about how the ins and outs of that every day. How you do that every day. She's on Girls Talk, Boys Talk every day. 4 p.m. Central Time.
Central Eastern Time. Every day except for Friday.
Okay. Oh, so it's Monday through Thursday.
Yeah, Monday through Thursday.
Well, she get a 3-day weekend.
The Lord is merciful when we need him.
Lucky you.
To be.
She get a 3-day weekend.
for now. But so first and foremost, I want to say I am a veteran of 8 years, and I would not be here without my disability. I would not be here if I
We
hadn't.
appreciate the service.
Absolutely.
To the country.
But I don't
Definitely
think I
appreciate
would
it.
be in this position if my disability hadn't really X'd out, my background's in security and policing. That's what I wanted to go do. But once I got injured, I had to figure out what else I was good at. I had to figure out what else was inside of me really that had value. And the first thing I thought about was football. And it was nervous for me because I was like, this is a different career. When I was going into law enforcement, I knew I could get a job.
Yeah.
I knew I had the qualifications. I knew all of those things.
Yeah.
But with football, I'm like, I learned this almost solely by myself. And the only people who think I can talk football well are probably my cat and my dog. They be sitting here listening to me acting a fool when the game is on. But people have been pushing me to do it. And I had quite a few people just tell me, just put your work out there. Just start recording yourself. Just do something. So this off season, I started recording my thoughts on a lot of the draftees and just commentary on training camp and stuff. And that was enough. That was enough. I totally went against my normal thoughts and got onto social media, got on the Cowboys Twitter, which is how I met Ashley, and how I met so many great people who believed in me and really believed in what I could do. So then Jane Slater reached out. She put out a post saying like, hey, I'm looking for some women in the Dallas area that can talk football at a high level. And she said she was overwhelmed by the amount of people who, referred her to me. And I don't think any of that would have happened to me if I hadn't got on Twitter, if I hadn't connected with people, if I hadn't been kind and just been myself. And so that's really how it came to me. Like, it's just being open and being kind and just taking it on, like doing it. I was so afraid of what people would think about me because I just had all this football in my head my whole life. And I was like, am I going to sound crazy to these people if I say what I think? But sometimes you just got to do it.
Yeah. And when you say that, it kind of reminds me of, because I can't wait for you guys to really start, because we're going to talk about this game. We're going to talk some X's and O's. So I can't wait for you guys to really hear what I'm talking about with her and how dope you really are. But what you say kind of not struck a nerve a bit, but kind of just, it stood out to me because it sounds like there was a bit of imposter syndrome there.
Oh.
And we
big time
tend to deal with, especially, listen, we're Black women in sports.
Yes.
We're in a world that's dominated by men.
Mm-hmm.
And we could know it like the back of our hand and still walk into the room and feel like I don't know nothing.
Yep.
So talk about a little bit of that. How did you kind of like, I mean, you're still kind of like overcoming it, but how do you deal with just walking into your purpose and into your destiny every day, regardless of the imposter syndrome that you may feel every now and then?
So one of the best things for me is that I have to remind myself of my journey. Like, I have to remind myself of what brought me here. And one of the things I'm very grateful for is that I knew this was going to be what I was doing from the time I was a kid. And when things started falling into place for me to do it, I was terrified because how many people know what they're going to do and they're doing it from the time that they're children. And so for me, the imposter syndrome was just, it was more so like, this is happening to me. Like, my first few weeks at work, I would walk into work and I was like, oh, forgot I work here. Hey guys, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It felt like I was walking into a regular building. And so now before I go into work, I just tell myself like you told me, what's for me is for me. Like, if God be for me, nobody can be against me. It's for me. Like, where I am right now, this position feels like it was carved out specifically for me. And once I harvested that, and then the feedback in my mentorship, which is, I would encourage people to, is to get mentorship in your corner that really understands you and is willing to listen to where you are. And that's helped me a lot. Like, just having people to reach out to and be like, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah.
I don't understand what's going on. Yeah. It's okay to not be okay.
I love that.
It's okay to not be okay, because I'm still trying to get my legs under. This is so new.
Yeah. And it's a pretty lengthy learning curve. I'd say being in sports media, I've been in it for 7 years,
Not the
and
microwave.
you know, we're in the hotel lobby, y'all.
Not the
So
microwave.
folks is heating up food
Ain't
and
hungry.
doing all of that. Hilarious, right? Like we had to make it do what it do, okay?
Yes.
And that's fine. But I think being in this, it's the learning curve is crazy. Again, I've been in it for 7 years, and I'm still learning.
Still.
I know folks that have been in this for 15, 20 years, and you're still learning. I just think it's something that you're always going to be doing. So if you feel like you don't know as much right now, or you feel like, I'm just still getting my legs under, or I'm constantly in your years in, it's not going to end.
Yeah.
Just be okay with the fact that there's something new every day. And I'm big on walking into your purpose. I'm big on, again, like you said, what's for you is not going to miss you. The doors that are open for you, walk through them.
Yep.
If they make sense, of course.
Sometimes, yeah.
Because some doors are open and you're like, don't really make sense.
You want to know something funny? Speaking of doors, I don't think I told that many people this because I was too scared to.
Oh.
My first.
So this is some exclusive about nothing but sports
because we're talking
right
about doors. I ran into one of the doors in the Star, head first.
I'm confused.
I had a little bit of a concussion.
I'm confused. Was it like the
glass was very clear.
That's what I was.
The glass was extremely clear. Boy, I dunked my head off of it. I had a bump right here for a while. No, yeah, the security guard saw me. He felt bad.
Well, at least it wasn't like Dak or somebody.
I shook it off like it was like nothing. But then I was a couple of days later, light was hurting me.
Oh snap! It was a hard.
I was a little concussed. It was kind of bad. So I just had to tell. If you are ever in the Star,
like Zeke and Dak and them may see you.
They do a great job. I hope not. But they do a great job cleaning those windows, man. I'm telling you, they're so clear.
Shout out the jury and the
you
Star.
Would never know.
Shout out to the cleaning crew at the Star.
Because y'all
are appreciated more than what y'all know. I mean, she ran into the door.
They got me. They caught me slipping.
All right, well, look. Check this out. Speaking of the Star.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
Just my first love.
Oh God.
Cowboys are sitting at 8-3, guys. The Cowboys are sitting at. I'm gonna show off.
Yeah, because after not having your quarterback for however many games, 5 is a huge deal.
Yeah,
to be
8-3. It is 8-3. And so we got to get into this. We got to talk about the Dallas Cowboys in their season so far. They have, as I mentioned earlier, upcoming game this week against the Colts, Sunday Night Football. I'll kind of dive into that a little bit later in this segment, but. Let's talk about the Cowboys, and let's talk about what your expectations were coming into the season. Let's talk about how they changed during this whole Dak not being in, Cooper Rush being in for that game, and then let's talk about where we are now and beyond. Like, where do you see us?
So there's this dope thing about like recording before the season is that there's like evidence, right? And I did a video, maybe like right before training camp, just saying like, if these things happen, the Cowboys would do well. And most of those things were just the defense being in year 2, playing with more cohesiveness, which is happening. That's allowing Dan Quinn to get a little bit more exotic, to do more things. I felt like last year, a lot of the turnovers that they got came to them just because they were playing so fast. Okay. But now some of the things that you're seeing now, especially with the sacks and things like that, those are designed. And on the back end, you even see with Dan Quinn, he's doing more disguise coverages and stuff like that. They're not playing so much just straight up man, and that's improvement because last year it was the guys were just playing through the motions. They were learning a totally different scheme. Dan Quinn came in here, and for them to be that successful was surprising to me. But they also set themselves up, though. They set themselves up with how they drafted last year, so D-line heavy, so defense heavy, and you're seeing some of those young guys that they drafted starting to emerge this year, so it matters. Also, the development of Kellen Moore. Hey, what's Kellen Moore going to look like in year 3? What is he going to look like as a play caller? And although he is still working through some things, what he is doing schematically in the run game is so much more advanced than, especially with the usage of the tight ends, is so much more advanced than what he was doing last year. So that's an improvement there. My last thing is your quarterback back? Your quarterback's back. Dallas's quarterback is back. Dak Prescott is playing fantastic. But what stood out to me,
averaging 38.8 points a game.
Is nasty
since he's been back.
Number 1 on third down, and they were bottom of the league. Bottom of the league before he got back.
Oh, I'm gonna talk my trash. Yeah. Y'all know I'm gonna talk my talk.
It's well deserved.
I'm gonna talk my talk.
It's well deserved.
I'm gonna talk my talk
because he looks healthy. He looks confident. He's out there throwing blocks for people. his legs were
saw
missing.
those.
His legs were missing
Yeah.
last year. And
Yeah.
you could see even later in the season that teams knew he wasn't going to run the ball. So some of those RPOs and stuff that you're seeing, those are things we saw last year.
Yeah.
It's just that he was not taking off and being decisive about it. But you see Dak playing to that level. And those are my three things. Those were literally my three things coming into this season. Is the defense still playing together, but they can change some things up schematically and do a little bit more because you got to evolve. Because guys have seen your defense from last year, right? So they had to evolve and take a next step. I think that Dan Quinn and the guys around him, Joe Wade Jr., those guys have taken that step. Kellen Moore, definitely improvement. You see him really starting to stick with the run game.
I love that.
And not only that, look at how he's even scheming CD open. What he's doing with the tight ends is so impressive because a lot of people think it's easy and they're like, oh my God, you guys have an abundance of riches at tight end. Imagine just it has to be difficult to be able to work every single one of them into the game plan.
Yeah.
But he's doing that.
Yeah.
And then obviously Dak Prescott's playing out of his mind. Those are my three things. And it looks like things are going well so far from that standpoint. And I'm lit about it.
Yeah. So where do you see we're 8-3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the NFC is a bit of a bust.
It's weird
this year. I've been calling this like the Twilight Zone year.
Okay. That's actually kind of catchy.
Yeah, I've literally been calling this the Twilight Zone year. You've got somebody like, and this is no shade to my Jets people, but the Jets are sitting at 7-4.
Yeah.
And I mean, you gotta think, folks knew or thought that, Zach Wilson would be, obviously an asset to them. You got Sauce Gardner in the defense, you know what I mean? But it's the Jets and they're sitting at 7-4. It's the Giants and they're sitting at 7-5. It's the Commanders and they're sitting at 7-4. By God, it's the Eagles and they're 10-1. Meanwhile, there's no signs of life from the Packers and Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers. There's little signs of life from my GOAT, Tom Brady in Tampa.
The Rams.
We thought that the AFC, oh my God, the Rams are 3-8. There's no signs of life there. Where the NFC East is literally what we thought the AFC West was going to be.
Insane.
We literally, every team is well above 500 in the NFC East. Whereas we thought that was going to be the case with the AFC West. So you got the Raiders and Derek Carr and Devontae Adams just not doing what we thought they were going to do. Oh, my goodness. The Chargers,
Broncos.
the Broncos. Oh, don't even get me started with the Broncos. We thought the Chargers and Justin Herbert and them boys were going to be balling out. This is the Twilight Zone year.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and what I mean by that, Twilight Zone year equal parity. It's really anybody's game. Anybody has a shot at it. What shot do you see the Cowboys having? Where do you rank them as far as a deep playoff run, essentially into the NFC Championship and possibly in a Super Bowl? I hate these kind of questions.
See, a lot of people are nervous to use the SB word in the Cowboys in the same language, but
I struggle from
I
struggle from post-traumatic Dallas syndrome.
Y'all need
so it's really PTDS.
PTDS? I don't know. Should you say that?
Is that bad?
I don't know. It just sounds like something you can catch.
My bad. You sound like a.
I'm sorry.
I suffer from PTDS.
Okay.
Post-traumatic Dallas.
Yeah, because what I think it's gonna be contingent on is just what they look like. I think what the game against Philly is going to tell you a lot. The game against the Titans is going to tell you a lot. However, it is worth saying that out of all the teams in the NFC, you truly do the Cowboys look the most balanced. They truly do.
Yes.
Special teams, defense, offense, all can get it done on a high level. And when you look around the competition, I would see with the 49ers, right? Offensively, they can be up and down. They can be up and down. The Cowboys can too, but I still think the Cowboys can overcome a little bit more because of their quarterback.
Yeah.
Also, the Niners are dealing with injuries. They're having guys come back, so we'll see how they start playing. But on the defensive side of the ball, what they're capable of.
Correct.
But still, there's a imbalance there to me. And then you look at maybe the Bucks. The Bucks right now are. That's what I'm saying.
My GOAT, y'all. I'm struggling with my GOAT. I've never seen my GOAT look like this. You know what I mean? For me, it's Dallas or Brady, and that's fine. If the season ended today, we'd see Brady, and guess what?
I'm mentioning
Old
him.
Man River will be going home.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm mentioning him
GOAT,
right now because I feel like you have to mention him, and then you have the Philadelphia Eagles, which Cowboys played them tight with Cooper Rush, and also too they've had a couple of injuries really in the middle of their defense. It looks like they lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson for a while, and I think he leads the league in interceptions.
Correct.
So we'll see if they weather the storm right now, but I do think that game that's coming up on Christmas Eve is going to tell you a lot about this team, because out of all the other NFC teams, the Eagles are really the biggest threat. I know the 49ers are looked at as the biggest threat. I just truly think that quarterback imbalance is a big deal. Like, granted, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to do his thing. I'm not going to knock Jimmy. I'm not going to knock Jimmy because because he gets one, at least he knows his role.
Well, yeah, and I like that. That's the one thing I'll give Jimmy.
That's my thing about him is that at least he knows his role.
Yeah,
and what
he doesn't
he's
overstep.
Capable of. Yeah, he knows
and that's a shout to
the coaching staff.
That's a shout to Kyle Shanahan as well.
And that's what I'm saying that the 49ers are a team that just plays within themselves. They know who they are, and identity means something going into the playoffs or going into the postseason. And a lot of people are like, how the hell has Jimmy been to Super Bowls? Because they know what works for him, what doesn't work for him.
Kyle is great at it. I'll give it.
And they just do it at a high level. And that's the thing, is the identity part. I think that Dallas is kind of getting their identity. I think the offense is starting to find their identity, but the 49ers have an identity. Philly they kind of have an identity, but people finding out that they've been giving out fake IDs at this point because stop.
Listen, if you're listening to this on Apple, Spotify, Google, I love the fact that you're listening to the podcast. Make sure you tap in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button for real. But I need you guys to head over to the YouTube channel and really get this in-person interaction like on screen, because it's like hilarious. Let me ask you this, because I got my ear to the Twitter street. Shout out to Sports After Dark. Shout out to TSSN Network. And a lot of individuals in these Twitter streets and in this social media streets, a lot of fans and stuff, they boiled down the NFC to three teams. They're boiling it down to the 49ers, the Dallas Cowboys, the Eagles. It's, for me, it's like a mixed emotion thing because I don't. First of all, I'm not scared of nobody. There's nobody in the league I feel like you need to be scared of. There's not a team where you're like even the Chiefs, like you're not scared, because it is true. Again, Twilight Zone year. It is truly any given Sunday for sure.
Nobody scares you.
Folks have PTSD though from last season with the 49ers. And folks don't really have no PTSD. I'm talking about the Cowboys, but they don't really have a lot of PTSD when it comes to like the Eagles or anything. But I think the 49ers are the most intriguing team to folks. Yeah. As you mentioned, their defense, we already know what that give. Number one overall defense in the league. Last 4 or 5 games haven't allowed a single score in the second half of those games. So shout out to them. Unfortunately, I'm quite versed with the 49ers because they're a big community on Twitter. Then you have the offensive weapons that they have, and so offensively they're better than they were last year. Yeah. And that's simply because of the addition of CMC, Christian McCarthy. Christian McCaffrey. My God. Hey, Mike McCarthy, you are on the mind. That's okay. Dallas take up real estate over here, and that's cool. Christian McCaffrey. So obviously they're better on offense.
He's dealing with some knee soreness right now.
He's playing.
I know he's playing.
You know what? He ain't been injured since he left Carolina. I think he was playing with Carolina. I think he was playing games with people like, yeah, I'm hurt.
I mean,
I ain't never seen him so injury free for the last 4 or 5 games. That's crazy.
Well, it also might be his workload or just the way they're doing things.
Well, that's what they said. That's what a lot of Carolina Panthers said, was that the 49ers would use him different because they don't have to put so much on him. So the injuries would slow down.
Yeah. Also, training staffs could be, you never know. Like, they might have a good staff at the Niners.
If Dallas makes it to the NFC Championship, a lot of folks' most intriguing matchup to them would be Dallas versus the 49ers, the rematch from last year.
I feel like,
let's speak hypothetically. Let's jump into Dallas is there. We're in the NFC Championship. We're going against the 49ers. Tell me what do you believe we've learned from last year's game that would help us in this year's game?
I don't know about.
Damn, that was a good question.
It was a good question. I don't know about. Sometimes I think they've learned they don't want to feel like that no more. They don't want to get embarrassed like that no more. One thing I will say about this team right now in this locker room is that it is evident that that 49ers game sat with them for a while, and they had the intention of kind of turning that tide. One thing about the 49ers is that, again, they're like the Titans. They may not have everything perfect, but they're going to play you so tough. They're going to
and find ways to win
they
games.
gut check you. They are a gut checking team, and they have the ability to take your emotion out of it really quickly if they hit you in the mouth. So the Cowboys actually went out and got some guys to hit you in the mouth. But what they're doing specifically in run blocking and in the run game is very hit you in your mouth like. If even if you look at some of the run schemes that they have, it's similar to the 49ers. They kind of took some things out of their book too. So one thing that I will say, I think that the Cowboys have learned from feeling like that. A lot of these older guys, or not older guys, but veteran guys on this team, they don't want to go through that anymore. But they went out and invested in guys, specifically to me on the offensive line and stuff like that, that are tough, that I understand could help neutralize some of what goes on defensively for the 49ers, because they can definitely get after you quick.
Now, oh God, I'm gonna reserve judgment. Okay, I'm not gonna talk about, again, PTDS. That's fine. That's fine. It's fine. I have a lot of it. Come on, dog. It's been like 30 years. I'm allowed to have like PTDS. Okay. I know, but I'm loving what I'm seeing from Dallas. One of the things that they cleaned up in the last 2 weeks that I begged for them to clean up on our Twitter space star days. Right here. Make sure y'all tap into that. We'll be back this Sunday.
Yes,
we're gonna do pregame or postgame. I'm at the game. We're both like.
I don't know about post because I might act a fool.
Let's do pregame.
Okay.
So y'all heard it here. Yep. We'll be pre-gaming for our Twitter space. We'll drop the link, drop the space, drop the time, all of that. Star days. Ash and Iisha. Boom. I had to do that little drop in. But we have a big game this Sunday. I mean, not big, but
it's kind of big.
It's big. Sunday night game versus the Colts. I know that you've been in that film room, and I know that you've already, been checking out some stuff. Tell me what you see. What I was going to say was something that I've noticed that we kind of held in check the last two games was the run.
Yep.
And I'm very proud of that. That was like a call to action. I was like, man, we got to and it started with the Dalvin Cook in Minnesota, holding the run game to under 70 yards. And that was just something that mattered to me because I feel like that is the only real glaring weakness with the Cowboys is if you have a prominent or a decent run game, then you can have your way with us to an extent. You have a way to win the game. If you don't have a run game, I don't feel like that you have a way to win, to win against Dallas. Yeah. A team is walking into Jerry World with a pretty good run game in Jonathan Taylor. Talk about what you've seen via film, what you've calculated in that beautiful brain of yours. That would be a couple of keys to us winning that game Sunday night.
So to start, I want to say in regard to how they stopped the run those last couple of weeks, part of that is just effort.
Correct.
Part of it is
facts.
Part of it we talked about multiple times is that you got a lot of guys out of position and stuff like that because it's exciting. Like they're ready to make the play. Like they want to go make the play. One thing that I also too I kind of want to stay. I've been trying to stay level-headed with the run defense and how it is, because one thing you have to consider is that most offenses are coming in here and that's their only option. They look at it like when you start looking at it, and like granted, people are like, well, they can just run the ball on them. People can just run the ball on them. But imagine being the other offense and seriously just having to game plan for that because you think that that's where some of the only success that you might see besides, maybe a deep post or something like that. So I also too want to stay. I kind of tried to stay level-headed about it because I understand that for these players, they have to be the patience level that you're kind of asking for some of these guys to have. It's hard to just sit there and be like, okay, we got to stop the run until we can rush the passer. But then it's different when teams are coming in here and it's just run. That's a different mental space.
That's a different, heck yeah.
That's a mental space for a defensive player to be in, to just not have anything else. And that's why Dan Quinn and those folks talked about, well, Mike McCarthy talked about them earning the pass rush. And that's something that's being echoed in the locker room right now, is that they have to earn the ability to rush the passer, and that's stopping the run. Part of the reason why they're stopping the run well too is that the DBs are really coming up and helping and supporting. I felt like the corners came up this past game and really helped seal off those edges. That's going to help you in the run game. Also, too, Leighton Vander Esch, I believe, has been playing better football.
He's been playing so well. I mentioned him.
Yeah, he's been playing far
shout out
better
to LVE.
football. Yeah,
correct.
Far better football. He's playing a lot more forward.
Yeah.
But Damone Clark is also giving you some speed that you hadn't seen just yet. We'll see what happens with Anthony Barr. Seems like he had a good day in practice today, but he was limited, but he still had a good day in practice. But the run support, a lot of it is just all hats to the ball right now. And
I love that.
And if you look at the game this past week, some of it wasn't perfect, but it was guys just getting in their nose in there and just being willing to go in there and try to make the play. And that's half the battle. So
I love that.
The run defense, I believe, is going to continue to improve. I do think that it's been good in spots, but we're trying to see it consistently be good. So this week could be another week to prove we can consistently do that. So hopefully maybe that'll dictate what teams decide to come out and do to you.
Yeah. If teams, just to piggyback off of that, I mean, you better find another way to beat us if we hold a Dalvin Cook in check, if we hold a Jonathan Taylor in check. Who else we got coming down? We got any other runners coming down the line?
Actually,
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry.
Oh my goodness! You better find it, because once that is in lock,
that's it.
They're going to be a very hard team.
And she actually brought up a really good point today. Like,
shout out to Jane Slater.
So most teams don't have both.
Yes.
Most teams don't have both. Even if you look at the 49ers, they have a couple of good pass rushers, but they don't have one at almost every position. And when you look at the body type and the way that Dan Quinn allows these guys, if you have so many pass rushers, I think that also plays into the run defense, which is why they went out and got Hankins, which is why it's important that Bohanna comes back, because those guys also, too, the last couple of weeks, that's something we haven't brought up. They've been able to overcome the fact that Hankins was out one game and not Neville and Bohanna, and those are your two big guys that have been out, and you've been able to make up for that in the run still. So that's still a positive as well, because you have some guys missing.
Yeah. So 3 keys to shout out to Young Heavy and his 3 keys of victories with the 49ers. I'm taking a page out of your book, my guy. Sorry. Go ahead. Feel free to drink your
coffee.
You can drink your coffee.
I'm trying to stay awake.
Listen, it's okay. Feel free to drink your coffee. This is you can drink, have a good time. This is not one of those,
uptight. Okay.
No, it's not one of those.
But
so yeah, give me 1 key. You ain't got to give me 3. What's the main key to victory on Sunday?
To score.
Oh God! Outside of that,
I know it sounds. I'm sorry,
but you think that that'll be a thing against the Colts?
Well, quite honestly, and this is why we look within things, because the Colts' scoring defense is actually above the Cowboys' one spot. They're actually 5th in the NFL. They're actually good on the back end. They're 5th against the pass.
Okay.
They're 5th against the pass. They're 17th against the run. This defense has some players on it. They got some guys back there. There's some guys in the back end. Stephon Gilmore. Stephon Gilmore.
Yes.
He is not allowed a TD this year. I mean, they have some guys that are back there that can play the game at a high level. And then also, too, have some gentlemen in the front that can rush the passer at a high level. So this defense, to me, that's what's been keeping them in a lot of these games. The Colts, their defense has kept them in a lot of these games. So this Cowboys offense is gonna have to come out and play.
Yeah, this is not a.
No, like there's these.
Do you feel like it's trap?
No, I don't look at it as a trap game.
Yeah,
but there are guys like you got DeForest Buckner on the front. Like they have guys like Ngakoue has 8.5 sacks.
Yeah,
they have gentlemen that can play. They have gentlemen that can rush the passer. So the Dallas offensive line is gonna have to win the line of scrimmage. They're going to have to, and they're gonna have to go score. And again, it sounds simple. But when the Cowboys go score, this Colts offense, in my opinion, is not built to come from behind. And that's why I said go score.
Got it.
Start fast, go score early. And from there, it truly should fall into place for you if you just play your game.
Score prediction? She hates score predictions.
I really do so bad. They make me do it at work. Because my anxiety won't let me do it. So I think the Cowboys, they're averaging 30 points, so it's hard to say.
Excuse me,
nothing.
sweetie. They're averaging 38 points a game.
Well, fix me.
Since
Fix
Dak Prescott has
me.
been back.
Fix
Put some
me.
respect on my quarterback's name. Put some respect on my team's name.
Well, I
Thank
was
you.
just trying to keep it in the threes.
Boo-boo. We're close. We're averaging almost 40 points a game. I'll take that.
Okay.
Let's eat that.
So
38 points a
I'll
game.
say 31-14.
Ooh, shout out to C-Lou. That's he's part of, Sports After Dark crew.
Yep.
My girl Iisha here is calling a just wash for the most part.
It's not a wash.
Do you feel like that it may be like 31-14, but it's not going to be as bad as the score is? That's a blowout.
It might be.
Might get scary hours.
Well,
I love scary time in Dallas.
Well, it's not partially because this is tough because the Colts left tackle Bernard Raymond, he's given up a lot of pressures, 3 sacks in the last couple weeks. And then they have another guy, Fries, that has stepped in. He's given up a considerable amount of pressures. And when your left tackle is struggling, which the Cowboys we've seen because Tyler Smith has had a rough couple of weeks, but he'll get his legs under him.
Yeah.
When your left tackle is struggling, and if your quarterback's not mobile, there's quite a few times this past game against the Giants, if Dak Prescott was not a mobile quarterback, he would have been sacked.
Yeah.
Some of those big plays that happened would have been done.
And shout out to Dak for being aware.
Absolutely.
The awareness is always a big
thing.
And
that's something that Matt Ryan is lacking right now.
Oh, yes.
He's lacking awareness. He's struggling with identifying disguises. The accuracy isn't there. He's third in the league.
Is he not in a good system?
I don't know.
I don't feel like that.
You got a young play caller. You got a really young play caller also too. So maybe I'm sure that has something to do with it.
Yeah. But because we're talking about a former MVP here, and it seems like
it's former.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about like in the 40s former.
Yeah, and and
it shouldn't look like it looks like he doesn't know how to play football, and we're talking about Matt Ryan.
And he has, and quite honestly though, he has some plays like he'll make some passes, and you'd be like, oh, there he is.
I feel bad for him a little bit Sunday because Dan Quinn knows Matt Ryan. Yeah, for obviously for those that don't know, we'll simplify it. He used to coach him.
Well, excuse me, I'm sorry. It's more so worse because again, the only quarterbacks that have given the Cowboys problems really are the ones that can move out the pocket. And if you are a quarterback that is not able to move out of the pocket, you saw what they did to Kirk Cousins.
It's going to be a long day.
You saw what they did to Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
And so I'm very curious on how they are thinking to even attack.
Yeah.
They're probably going to run the ball. And even so, the way that the Colts run the ball is very old school. Yeah. They're not looking to get your guys looking in one direction and going in another direction. They are just it's just power on power. Like I'm bigger, stronger than you. And that is actually playing to me, the Cowboys defensive line strengths. So the reason why I gave that score is because I do think if the Cowboys can get out and score early, it could be a long.
It could be a long day. It's going to be nasty.
It could be a long
All right.
day.
So you say 31-14. I think thank you. She gave us this little tidbit. I'm gonna give mine on our show.
Okay.
Star days.
Okay.
I still need a couple days to like mull it over.
To look at
film, listen to what you said.
I mean, don't listen to me about the score. Don't listen to me about the score because sometimes I just be pulling stuff on my butt because I don't know. Because I don't like scores, y'all. I don't like scores.
Okay.
But I'll try my best.
Well, I'm excited about the win. Also, shout out to Tyron Smith doing some practicing. That is going to be a great, great thing for us going into the playoffs. My goodness, that's that's a topic for another day. But
him gonna help.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Him gonna help. It's kind of crazy though. Yeah. Like if you ask any team, and I know we gotta go. If you ask any team, like, can I get better at left tackle, wide receiver, and possibly linebacker going into November? You're
December.
Is it December? Yeah, I meant December. What I meant.
Yeah.
You should be excited to upgrade.
Because we're getting healthy as well. They talk about these other teams that are getting healthy. Tyron Smith is a big deal. Mm-hmm. So when he goes out injured, that's why y'all will see me like spazzing off on like social or on my podcast. And I'm like, yo, he's too great of an asset.
Oh, yeah.
That position is too viable. And so I'm excited to see now what'll come out the playbook. Now what tricks Kellen will pull out the hat with Tyron back because he is that essential to that line.
And then you add Tyler,
and then you
add
Tyler,
who has plenty of power.
Yeah, so it's gonna be crazy. So like you said, we gotta go.
Sorry.
So it's cool. One other thing I want to do though, I got you for like a couple more minutes. One other thing I want to do is I haven't done this in a couple of weeks, but I'm gonna do it because we're in person and I need y'all to see these reactions when I ask this question. So we're gonna do like a this or that.
Okay.
Would you prefer this? Would you prefer that?
Mm-hmm.
I usually time. I'm not going to time. I haven't been timing this entire season, so that's absolutely fine. But just about 6 or 7 questions.
Okay.
All right. Let's get it.
Okay.
Drums or flats?
Flats.
Oh my gosh, she's already starting off good. Beach or mountains?
Barnacles. Beach. I can't do cold.
Okay. Michael Irvin or Des Bryant? Always look for this stump moment. Always do something where I get them thinking, y'all.
For what? Like just period?
Yeah.
If you had to choose one?
If you had to choose one.
Michael.
If you're a GM.
Irvin.
You're picking Mike.
Yeah.
Okay. I love Des. Des is my guy.
I do too.
Des.
There's something that Michael Irvin has inside of him to rally people around him I think as Des was just getting that inside of him when he ended up being out of the league.
I feel that. Jay-Z or Lil Wayne?
Barnacles. Oh my God.
Yeah, you got to switch it up. See the switch up? It's got to switch it. See, it's the reaction.
Please, I'm listening to the song in my head. I said, fireman. Fireman. I started singing in my head. Little duffel bag.
You got to do edge to the inside.
Stop.
To the inside.
Okay.
You got to throw some jiggle stuff.
Okay. So
Jiggle Lil Wayne.
If I had to choose one to listen to myself, it would be Jay-Z. But it would be Jay-Z. All
right, cool. You're tapped into NBA enough for me to be able to tell you that ask this. Steph or Luka?
Oh my God, why would you do that? Oh, the disrespect.
Steph or Luka?
What am I building, my all-star team or like a roster to go win a ship?
Right now, Steph or Luka?
Right now?
Not historically, not career-wise. I ain't gonna do that because obviously Steph by a mile. But right now. Mm-hmm. Steph or Luka?
Steph is playing good ball right now too, even though that Golden State is kind of meh. Oh my God. Do I want the future or do I want the
history?
Oh my God, I don't want to disrespect Steph. He's my fave.
Is it a little Dallas bias here?
There's bias for me, period, because I'm a diehard Golden State fan.
Oh, see, I thought you were talking about some Dallas bias.
I'm from Dallas, and I'm struggling with Luka too because I feel like I'll just say Luka right now.
Ooh,
I'm just gonna say
she rolling with Luka. Luka's been killing it though. Luka been smoking. Yeah. I mean, that's not a bad choice. It's tough regardless.
Okay.
I feel like that's tough regardless.
Oh, I feel bad saying it.
Pizza or tacos?
Tacos. I was gonna ask you if y'all want to go to a taco spot out here anyway, because I got a hole in the wall spot not too far.
Do they have the burrito tacos?
Yeah, actually, there's actually a really good spot now.
You want to go now?
You can't go right now. I think the truck is. It's a truck. It's a truck, but I will send it to you because they do have them. They were like ticked all over TikTok.
I haven't had the burrito tacos.
I can send you a place.
All right. Well, you did good. That's it. That's all I'm gonna ask you.
That's
all
it.
I'm gonna get to you.
Okay, well,
but there were a few that I stomped you on, so I'm proud of myself.
You're gonna get tacos out of it.
I love tacos.
You get my taco spots.
I've never had the burrito tacos, but I love a good taco with some. They got sour cream, lettuce. I need all that. All right, listen. We gotta go.
We want Americanized tacos.
Oh, like Taco Bell.
Yeah, because here you gonna get some
meat and cheese,
authentic taco.
Yeah, but I hear that this is the taco spot, Texas, in LA.
Oh yeah, I got you. I got her.
Well, listen, because she got me, I want some tacos. We rolling out, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in to About Nothing But Sports. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Miss Iisha. Make sure that you let everybody know where they can find you on social and where they can find the show, please.
So you can find me on the Twitter machine, Iisha Morrison. That's IISHA, 2 I's. So y'all, please. Morrison. Yeah, for real, y'all. Come on. And I am on DallasCowboys.com or YouTube, Girls Talk, Boys Talk, every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 4:00. You can come see me. Also, too, I'm very interactive, so if you want to say hi, Yeah.
And make sure that you guys tap into our Twitter space. It's called Star Days. We do every Sunday, and we kind of let you know throughout the week if it's going to be pregame and postgame. Again, as we mentioned earlier in the show, this will be pregame for the Dallas Colts game, Sunday Night Football. So make sure you guys are tapped into that. And she does stop by Sports After Dark every now and then. So if you want some live interaction that way as well, make sure that you tap in with her. Thank y'all for tapping in with us again today. Make sure you follow me on social media at AshleyBaker_21. That's on Twitter and on Instagram. And of course, you can download this podcast where you're probably listening to it, Apple, Spotify, Google. And make sure you guys please subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Y'all need to see this interaction in person. Again, thanks for being here. And y'all, thanks for tapping in. Same time, same place next week, people. Go Cowboys.
You gotta stop.